What's going on, guys? You know what it is, you know who it is. Nick Fury back with another video. Destiny 2 came out and we are going to be going over the changes and the differences between this Destiny 2 and Destiny 1, and there is a lot to go over, so let's go ahead and get into it. The story. If you played the beta that came out about a month ago, then you have seen the first mission, the first story. It starts out with the cinematic that you've seen on YouTube that Bungie put out. The one with Ikora, Zavala, and Cade 6 sitting there. They're worried about what's going on, and all of a sudden the Cabal shows up and attacks the tower. And so I'm not going to get into the details of the cutscenes and everything. We've all seen it. But the story's pretty simple. The Cabal attack, they take the Traveler, you lose your light, so then you have to go find the light, get your light back, and then take on the Cabal. That simple. What makes this story so different from Destiny 1 is, well, there actually is a story. Let's start there. But the cinematics. The cinematics are great. It makes the game feel like a real game. In Destiny 1, we really didn't get much of anything. You know, you just went out, did a mission, come back, the ghost would talk. Next mission, go something, come back, ghost would talk, and that was it. There wasn't any cutscenes until the Taken King came out, and even then, it was just like maybe 4 or 5. It wasn't anything great. But in this game, lots of cutscenes. Makes for a great game, makes for a great experience. Now, the next thing for me was a big concern going into this game, and that was the actual gameplay and the gameplay mechanics. And the gameplay mechanics, for the most part, feel the same as Destiny 1, but a lot better and a lot smoother. I noticed right off the bat, when you are aiming down sights or shooting your gun, it doesn't feel like you need to pull your control sticks out of your controller to actually look around and aim down sights and all that stuff, which is great for me. You don't have to turn your sensitivity all the way up to 10 to actually do something and look around. The animations for your super abilities look better, feel better. The abilities themselves were actually rebuilt. I play Titan, for example, and you do get the Titan Smash, but they redid the Void Titan altogether. The Titan Smash, you get 3 smashes, which is great for PvP. You don't just get one big smash that you happen to miss and then you're just done with it. The Void Titan, you don't just get the bubble shield, but you can also use a shield like Captain America and throw the shield around and block incoming attacks. Now, the Hunter is pretty much the same. Arc Blade, but you get a stick that you can swing around, whatever. The Warlock, their solar ability changed. They now get a spear that they throw around. They don't just get that stupid self-res that was pretty much only useful in PvE or in the Trials of Osiris, that sweaty piece of, don't get me started on Trials of Osiris. But overall, Bungie did a great job with subclasses and gameplay, period. Gunplay's great, subclasses are improved. Good job, thumbs up on that one. And speaking of changes, weapons got changes. The way your weapon loadout works now, you get a kinetic weapon, which is just a regular primary weapon, and then your secondary is now energy weapons, which is self-explanatory. Primary weapons with energy abilities, solar, arc, void, like the raid weapons in the first year of Destiny before they took all that away. I'm glad they brought it back in this way. You now have power weapons. That's where your snipers, your shotguns, your fusion rifles, your grenade launchers, your rocket launchers, that's where all those go. And you can only use them by finding power ammo, obviously. Perks for weapons and armor are now pretty much the same for every armor and weapon that you can find. You no longer have to go out and grind for that god roll like you did in Destiny 1, and I honestly am very pleased with this. I hated grinding the same strikes over and over again just to get a god roll for a gun, just to be good in PvP or PvE. That no longer exists, and I thank Bungie for doing that. Thank you for saving me tons of time. I appreciate it. One major difference that I noticed, major difference, is the activities in this game. There is so much more activities to do in the game, in each area that you go in. Public events, adventures, which are basically patrols in Destiny 1, but the adventures are way bigger. There's a lot more to do, and it's more like its own mission in itself. You actually have to go from point A to B. You don't just go to one point, scan something, and then you're done. You actually have to go to a spot, fight enemies, go to a next spot, and there's actually a story behind it, which is awesome. And not only that, public events and adventures are very rewarding in the beginning of the game. It's very crucial to building up the power level for your character. I noticed that public events was the way to go in building up your power level until you unlock the strikes in the Vanguard playlist. And strikes in this game are pretty much the same as Destiny 1. You drop in, fight enemies, run to the next point, fight more enemies, run to the next point, fight more enemies, checkpoint, boss fight, Adds, boss fight, adds, fight the boss, adds, fight the boss until the boss is eliminated. Chest appears, gets rewards. Hopefully, you get a great drop. Hopefully you get an exotic or a legendary or whatever. That's pretty much it. Pretty much the same as Destiny 1, and there wasn't much of a need to change strikes in the first place, so I don't have much complaint there. And speaking of things that haven't really changed, the map layout is pretty much the same when you're looking at the planets. The only difference is your quests in Destiny 1 are now called milestones, and those can be found in the galaxy map by pulling left trigger on Xbox, or if PS4, I'm going to assume it's L2, and that's where you can find the quote-unquote quest you get from, whether it's from Shaxx, anybody in the Vanguard, anything like that. Planets are pretty much the same as Destiny 1. Earth is where you're going to find the Fallen. The next planet, which is called Titan, is where you're going to find the Hive. The next planet, Nessus, is where you're going to find the Vex. And then the last planet called Io, which is where you're going to find 3 different types of enemies: the Cabal, the Vex, and the Taken, which was a big surprise to me. They brought the Taken back, which was, pretty cool. Frustrating to fight the Taken, but pretty cool. Now, enough of more of the same. Let's go to one major change that I find I can't tell if it's frustrating or if I'm just bad at it, and that is the Crucible. The Crucible, they changed a lot. It is now 4 versus 4 instead of 6 versus 6. Obviously, they're always changing weapon balances, so I can't really complain too much about that. They'll probably fix that later. But my biggest complaint about the Crucible is them making it 4 versus 4. I am so used to finding a squad of 6 versus 6, and I have built my Destiny community around 6v6 Crucible. I have 5 specific friends that I play the Crucible with all the time, and now I have to cut off some friends. That is very frustrating to me. Now I have to pick and choose of my friends that I play Destiny with regularly who I'm going to play with, and that just sort of frustrates me. It's just a personal pet peeve of mine. I know there's going to be people that are going to say 4v4 is great, it's better balanced, all that stuff, and I understand why they did it. I know the explanation, but sometimes you cannot teach old dogs new tricks. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I'm sure they made it 4v4 just to make this game a part of the competitive scene. I'm pretty sure it's tough for Bungie to watch Halo and Overwatch and all these games in the competitive scene, and their game was considered not a competitive game, more casual. And so I'm pretty sure that frustrated them enough to where they made these changes, which is fine. But for the more casual Crucible players like me and my friends, please make it 6 versus 6. You already have a competitive playlist, so why not have a casual playlist that's 6v6? It just makes more sense. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's what I'm trying to say. The last thing I wanted to talk about is just the visuals and the sound of this game. As I mentioned about the story, cinematics on point. Cinematics look great, adds a great element to the game that was missing in Destiny 1. On top of that, the soundtrack to this game is great. It sounds awesome. The music is captivating. I got lost in the game just by listening to the music, and I would consider buying the original soundtrack outright if you ever put it out. I'm pretty sure they will, and I probably would buy it. Last thing I want to talk about, 30 frames per second, 1080p, looks good on the console. Looks great, and I can only imagine what it looks like on PC. Go ahead, PC players, put those videos up. I want to see how gorgeous this game looks on PC. So day 1, Destiny's been out for 1 day. And day 1, these are my impressions. It's just day 1. It's just 1 day, less than 24 hours. I get that. But the game is great so far. So in about a week or 2, I'll probably put out a full review of the game after I get my character built up. Maybe I do a raid or 2. See if the game doesn't get dry on me. But as of right now, this game is definitely an 8 out of 10. And we'll see how the score changes when we do raids, more PvP activity. The first Iron Banner, I'm excited for that. Whatever, I'm ready. Bring it on, Destiny. Destiny is back. Let's go. So if you like what you heard, like what you saw, you know the deal. You know what I'm gonna say. Like, subscribe, comment, all of that. And after you subscribe, bell icon. Hit that bell icon so you know when I release new content in the future. This has been your boy Nick Fury. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys later.